Hello, everyone, and welcome to 9 to 5 2, in which it is Desider Day. By the end of our series this morning, 2 teams will be eliminated and 2 teams will have advanced to the playoffs. The opening best of 3 between alternate aTTaX and GamerLegion to dictate that first matchup. My name is ProTalis, and joining me to talk you through it is, of course, M&J. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. This is a real early start, isn't it? It's yeah, I think it's probably the earliest I've ever got up to cast, and I think that hopefully that doesn't have too much of a toll on these players. Typically, when you're playing a match like this, especially an important match like this, you want to get up, you want to get into the practice servers and sort of run over some of the things you're going to do, possibly even play a scrim before you go into your match, which, especially in Europe, you're certainly not going to find a scrim at this time of the morning. So hopefully they've still had the time to get up, get into the servers, get warmed up, but we'll have to see how it pans out for them, to be honest.
We certainly will, and we do have confirmation of the 3 maps for today's best of 3 series as well. The opening map going to be Overpass, picked by alternate aTTaX after those instant bans of Nuke and Vertigo. Mirage picked by GamerLegion as the second in the series, and should we need to get there, we have Inferno as our third and final decider. Now, I was taking a little bit of a look at these teams' histories before this, and I think this veto just about comes in alternate aTTaX's favor.
Yeah, alternate aTTaX have 100% won this veto, and it purely comes down to the fact that their Vertigo is so strong. They have an 82% win rate on Vertigo across 34 maps, which means that GamerLegion have to ban Vertigo. Yeah, they can't float Vertigo. They absolutely have to ban it. It's also something that they've never played before, according to HLTV, so they have to ban it straight away. But that means that Inferno's still open, which is by far their weakest map, a 29% win rate across the 7 maps they've played on it. So actually the third map going to Inferno, that's something that GamerLegion really would have wanted to ban, and if they weren't against a team that was so strong on Vertigo, they probably would have done so. But by having to ban your opponent's best map, you're having to play your worst in the third, and if they can take their own map pick of Mirage, they're going to have a tough time to close it out in the third map of the series.
Indeed, even on Mirage, they're a little bit of an unknown quantity. Obviously, this younger roster coming forward hasn't quite had perhaps enough time to prove itself at the moment and develop fully that team cohesion. So I'm not expecting the brightest performance coming through from GamerLegion in this best of 3 series. They're up against a side in the form of alternate aTTaX who are much higher up than them in the world rankings. They're nearly even a top 30 team, alternate aTTaX, at this point in time. They've been together a lot longer as well, and they seem to have a deeper map pool with an edge in this series. If alternate aTTaX can come out strong in the first map of Overpass, I think I'll have very little faith in GamerLegion, because even if they can fight back on Mirage, your point about Inferno is always going to be lurking in the wings. So for me, GamerLegion, they need to start strong on Overpass if they want a chance in this series, and that's going to be a very difficult task up against this alternate aTTaX side.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I mentioned to you just before we went live. In fact, the fact that looking at this game, just at face value, you look at these 2 teams, you look at the 2 rosters, and actually just the fact that I kind of popped into a couple of the 9-to-5 games a couple of days ago, and GamerLegion had won like the last 3 matches in the 9-to-5 series. So I was thinking, you know what, this should be a pretty close game. But I mean, that just shows that you have to dive into the stats. I'm terrible at my job. HLTV completely disagree with me. All of the odds, everything heavily swinging in alternate aTTaX's way, and it's only when you really dive into the maps and you actually look at their win rates and everything that becomes very, very clear. So there is 100% potential for this to be a clean-cut 2-0 series. It really comes down to the fact of whether GamerLegion actually perform on Mirage, which is, well, it is actually alternate aTTaX's weakest map.
Indeed, that's the one silver lining for GamerLegion going forward into this series. They do have that Mirage as an option, but the issue with Mirage as a map is it can be really heavily momentum based as well. If you struggle, especially on that CT side, to find opening kills, you're losing mid control all of the time, or you're constantly losing that first frag on the A bomb site, and then you just have to split 2-2, and you've got multiple channels of attack into either bomb site at that point in time. So if GamerLegion get beaten back too heavily on Overpass, and then we come into Mirage, let's say, for example, GamerLegion start on the CT side, which the economy is really hard to get control of, there's definitely a scenario in which alternate aTTaX can convert that into some momentum and then try and demolish the series 2-0. So it's a real mental fortitude one for GamerLegion in this as well. Not only do they need to come out with performances that are probably going to be above the average caliber for this team, but they're also going to need to have strong mental fortitude and be aware that there are going to be times where we're likely to be behind in this series, and we need to be able to come back out of those scenarios. Otherwise, we're just going to collapse and be eliminated with an unfortunate 2-3 record.
You're exactly right, and it does come down to the fact if we see a repeat of what we saw from Crazy, yeah, in Crazy's matchup yesterday, in my eyes, they were sort of the underdogs, especially going into that Nordavind game, for example. But they showed that they had the potential. They really pulled it out in some rounds and actually showed that they were capable of taking that series, but they were just losing so many of their angels. They were losing so many of these close-cut clutch situations where it come down to a 1v1, maybe a 2v2. And GamerLegion need to make sure that in those scenarios, because it's not like it's not like alternate attacks are just the way better team. Like, if you actually break it down to the individual players, it's relatively matched. Both teams are sort of playing within the same leagues and stuff. They're really not too far away from each other. But GamerLegion need to make sure that when they're in those situations where there is a fair 1v1 Angel or there is some kind of clutch situation, they have to come out on top. Because if they throw those rounds away, they lose their Angels, alternate attacks will just eat them up.
And it looks like we are just about ready to get underway with the first map of Overpass, ladies and gentlemen. Just about to begin to dictate which side is going to get that ever elusive CT start that they are looking for.
I don't think it matters all too much on Overpass. Who ends up with that CT side, of course.
Terrorists win.
I think you definitely do get an edge in those scenarios, especially if you have a strong AWPer on the CT side. Beginning there is obviously going to be a really important factor to try and build up that early momentum on the easier side of things and try and let the AWPers really reign supreme at that point in time. Just try and build up the platform to work with throughout the rest of the map. Apologies for that one, ladies and gentlemen. We are back in with the match now, and it looks as though GamerLegion are the side who've come out on top of that knife round, starting on the CT side here of Overpass. So alternate attacks then have the opportunity to dictate the pace early. And that could be a huge benefit to this German side, starting on their own matchup. If they can try and dominate the early stages of that T side, try and get aggressive with these early plays, then they can hunt around and try and steal the momentum away from GamerLegion early, deal that economic damage, and try and convert that into round wins. As we are just about to be ready to get underway then, ladies and gentlemen. The pistol round between alternate attacks and GamerLegion in the opening map of Overpass. The loser of this series faces elimination and the winner advances to playoffs. Alternate attacks charging straight into this key bomb site at the moment. Glocks looking around to deal damage for the German side, and on short, Adams missed a lot of shots. Zero will only get one in reply, and alternate attacks have the B site.
Yeah, Adam there, not only does he miss all of his shots, but he doesn't even do any damage. So a really difficult task for his teammates to pull off here. And Zero, well, actually gets himself one, but traded straight back. That's a very, very strong, dominant round from alternate attacks. They just charge straight in. They keep 3 players alive, and a very nice 3K from Stefan to kick things off as well.
That's exactly what the Germans will have been looking for here at the beginning of Overpass. Now, if they can get through this force buy in the second round as well, they'll be off to a perfect start. They've got the 3 Mach 10s out, looking to hunt down that bonus cash. And if they can just keep this GamerLegion economy hampered in the early stages, their task here on Overpass is going to be so much easier.
It really will be. These SMGs with the opportunity to rack up some cash, but Rusty early on finds the first, gives them that man advantage to work with, and Mezzi's in a really difficult corner to clear. There are 2 players here to do so, but the Molotov swings the wrong way. Mezzi has the opportunity to convert one, and he does exactly that, but quickly traded back. The man advantage now retained for GamerLegion, but alternate attacks slowly but surely creeping their way up, gaining this map control. They need to just make sure that they swing the numbers back in their favor, and as Error gets tagged up, forced off the angle, needs to connect a shot here, and for now he's unable to do so.
That's the key for GamerLegion. If they can keep taking these one-on-one gunfights and just, even if they trade out 1-for-1 at this point, they're going to come off ahead in terms of the man advantage. But Cressy's here to try and upset the party. Rusty trading 1-for-1 keeps doing the work, though, on this GamerLegion force. Now, thankfully for the T side, there's 45 seconds left on the clock, and they're already in the A bomb site. But they do need to stabilize at some point here. Rusty's Eagles found the kill onto Stefan. Now Slacks can't even reliably commit to the plan, and he's left in a 1-versus-1. Rusty's picked up the AK-47 here, and this is a perfectly winnable scenario, but Slacks decides to deny and keep the rounds going in alternate attacks' favor.
Huge initiative play there from Slacks to actually just charge straight onto that site. In that situation, he's the only man with an AK. He has to just get stuck in, jumps right up onto the truck, kills the close player, and clutches out a lovely 1v2 to make sure that alternate attacks stay ahead. GamerLegion definitely kept that one close. A real nail-biting situation, actually. As soon as Rusty picked up that AK, it became a very, very close fight. Unfortunately, they just can't come out on top, and alternate attacks take it to 2 against an eco now as well. So these MAC-10s can be brought up again, try and rack up some cash, but Rusty still doing the dirty work, finding that first kill again.
Stefan getting him back at least for now, as he pushes further forward with that MAC-10 and hunts for yet more cash for his SMG. As long as alternate attacks can keep these rivals alive, that's the key point here. But Mezzi gets the off angle onto Cressy. That's an AK saved by the CT side now, regardless of what happens in this round. I know there's a minute left on the clock, but with alternate attacks yet to plant, Mezzi could quite feasibly put himself in another off-angle hunt for a kill and then exit at the end of this round. Adam as well is still lurking around to support him, and there's a bit of a flank going on. If Stefan decided to advance into connector, Adam would be able to push into his rear as well. Unfortunately, the timing not quite there. And so he may be able to recover the weapon, but doesn't have the opportunity he once did.
If Mezzi wins that aim duel, then actually it becomes a 2-versus-2. Adam would have a MAC-10, he'd have an AK, you'd have a lot to work with, but instead it's just Adam. He does find himself one and grabs himself the AK. Does he go for the save here, though, or is he actually going to go for this one? It's looking like it's going to be the latter. But if he does so, he pretty much walks straight into his death. They've got a perfect crossfire set up. I think this is cue to run back here. Yeah, there we go. Runs for the hills. He's got 46 HP, no Kevlar. Bring that AK into the next round. Be a huge weapon to have going into the third.
Looked like he wanted to make it appear as though he was giving it a go there. You know, just flashing over into B, seeing if anyone from alternate attacks is going to try and swing into him for a lucky shot, and that way maybe he can punish an extra rifle and force the reinvestment from alternate attacks. He's buying up in the next round with his team anyway, so it's not a nightmare if he loses the AK in that situation. But as soon as he deploys that flash and realizes no one's going to swing out into him, he knows there's no point just shifting into a crossfire with no armor. So he will save that AK forward and bring it into what is now the full buy coming out from GamerLegion in round 4, which is where we'll start to see whether or not they can stand up to alternate attacks here. If they just completely crumble when they've got the full guns out, that would be the nightmare scenario. And in both of the 9 to 5 series I was casting yesterday morning, it was incredibly strong starts in every map.
Well, alternate attacks, they've still got Scrunk on that MAC-10, and there's potential to just let him loose and go for those close range fights, but a huge stack over towards this B site means that actually GamerLegion have got the chance to take this one. The smoke goes up to buy the Molotov. The MAC-10 though, raining terror charges in, does so much damage but can't convert to kill. A man advantage now for GamerLegion to work with, make that a 2 as so much damage has been dealt, but still no kills for alternate attacks. This is just a complete shutdown from GL. They've taken 4 men on the B site, and Mirbit falling right back. He's the man that got tagged up right at the start from that AWP leg, and he's going to go and save that AK. That's so unfortunate. They dealt so much damage on that initial push, but they just could not convert the kills.
The issue was the bonus round there from alternate attacks, I think. They tried to bring the MAC-10s forward, And you just saw it. They didn't have enough firepower to get the job done. If that was an AK in that position, double spray down, double man advantage earned by alternate attacks, so much more space in the B bomb site, and probably an easily one round there. But the MAC-10 just cannot do the damage it has to. It tags up and finds no kills, and ultimately that gives GamerLegion enough time to find what is necessary and secure themselves the first round. Now, they do it with 4 players left alive as well, which is excellent news for their bank when you consider that Adam was the player who saved the AK into this round. So he already had that 3,300 cash reserve to work with. Their economy relatively flush going forwards, whereas if alternate attacks do want to go for a buy in this next round, it would drain the bank and they may be lacking utility.
Question of what they do into this one. Are they just going to buy some pistols Kevlar around this AK? I think that's probably the right move to go for here. Obviously Meerbit not earning any cash off of the back of that round, saving that AK. So yeah, that's exactly what they do. A couple of pistols, not actually any Kevlar. They're going to save the money, make sure they've got the money for an AWP in the next, try and bounce right back off of it. The real issue for alternate attacks there was that huge stack over towards the B site from GamerLegion. So utility usage was perfect and flushed out those 2 site anchor players. But the 2 extra players just came in, the flashes didn't affect them, and they were the ones that were able to convert the frags. But look at this from Scrunk right now. He's run all the way up long. He's taken huge amounts of control, gained huge amounts of info, even spotted the player on bank right now. That gives them a little bit of legroom to work with, but the issue is error in the toilets with this AWP should be able to connect these shots, but it's not going to happen. Meerbit, the man with the rifle, lands himself a nice headshot, and that's going to be an AWP claimed for one of his teammates that without the armor doesn't really matter too much, and he gets the kill.
Rusty at close range was in trouble there, flashed up and about to get flanked from multiple angles. GamerLegion are starting to sweat in this round in which alternate attacks just invested the pistols. It was work from Meerbit, and now the rest of his team following up. A Zero appears to be stabilizing. 3 huge rifle kills, and the man who saved the AK has it all to do. He nearly lines them up, but it needs to be a quad kill from the Serbian player for GamerLegion to stabilize that A bomb site. A great round from alternate attacks, considering they invested virtually nothing, but they could have had a lot more there.
That was absolutely huge from Zero, and I mean, alternate attacks, you've got to be quite happy with that round, just considering the damage you managed to do with the investment that you had. But they could have very, very easily converted that. Had Zero not have found those 4 kills right at the end, that was their round for the taking. A very nice start. Landing that headshot, picking up the AWP, connecting that second as well, and it's error. This time, making sure he doesn't miss it as Scrunk falls early. Cressy needs to connect these 2. Finds himself the first and the second. The connector aggression completely shut down, and Zero's here to trade it. Not going to be able to do so for now, though.
Huge work there from Cressy. Zero's now trying to bait him out into the crossfire they have set up on short, but he is having none of it at the moment. The rest of his team just happy to play it slowly and hold for this GamerLegion counter aggression. They're trying to bait the rotations back up to the A bomb site as they creep down into B. At the moment, that is the right call, but depending how far forward Error gets at the moment, there could be potential issues with this. If he advances all the way up to connector, not only does he have Cressy to find with that AWP, but he has the info there are no more T-side players over A, and they can begin to rotate back over to the lower site.
I actually really don't like that aggression early on from GamerLegion there. They had the first pick. Now, of course, they'd already committed to that connector aggression, but... Oh, error. Should be able to get at least 1 here onto Cressy. Levels the numbers back out into a 3-on-3, but as Meerbit bounces right back, it's Zero that needs to connect them, and he's only good for 1. Error needs to shut this down. It's a 1 versus 1 now. He's standing in the Molotov, desperate for the shot, but Stiffen plays a game of chicken and comes out on top. Does manage to cross, get this bomb down, but Error's in close from Monster. The scope is going to give away his position. Is going to be holding for him a huge advantageous position here, but he seems to think he might have crept up around the pillar already, and he's fallen back to short. Error should be able to predict this one. It's realistically the only place he could be besides water. All just comes down to timing here. It is going to be GamerLegion to come out on top. They level it out 3-3. And that early start from aTTaX has gone right back the other way.
There's no reason for Stefan to be swinging in that 1v1. He had no sound cue that the bomb was being defused, and I assume he's close enough to hear that on short as well. And this was really what opened it up for aTTaX here at the start. It got them into that bomb site, but it's this clutch from Era that wins it out. I'm so confused as to why he strafed out there. I can only guess that he believes the AWP is really going aggressively into him and he's trying to swing out and surprise it. Either way, a perplexing decision by Stefan, and it's the 1v1 that is earned by GamerLegion. You mentioned it as a victory condition for the underdogs in this series, and well, they've won it and earned the 3-3 scoreline, and they've started a lot stronger than I thought they would here on Overpass.
Well, when I saw aTTaX go 3-0 up, they were looking really dominant in that pistol round as well. I started to question it too, but they have shown that they are absolutely capable of doing this. The issue is they've been relying on individual performances from a lot of players. So that round, for example, where aTTaX just had the pistols forced up, it was Zero that had to go huge. In that last round, it was Era that had to go huge. I think he ended up with a 3K, possibly even 4. In fact, it was 4. Managed to land himself a 4K in that round to win it. So they need to make sure they are all pulling up the numbers and they are converting these kills. And it's Mezzy to find the first 2 with that MP9. Adam finds the fourth as well. They're just completely shutting this one down. The pistols aren't able to do anything. No bomb plant as well. GamerLegion set themselves up nicely for that one, and for the first time this game, actually take the lead.
aTTaX showing us what is quite the notorious weak T side on Overpass for them. They do not favor this half of the map whatsoever, but they still need to keep it competitive if they want a chance on their CT side. There's no point just discounting the T side and hoping for your better half, because coming back from a major round deficit can be incredibly difficult. Lovely nade there from the CTs on to Slacks early on, and I think if aTTaX can put up 8 rounds even on this T side, it will be a victory. 7 might even be enough, looking at just how important their CT statistics are. But if GamerLegion are allowed any more momentum than that, a 9-6, a 10-5 even, I'd worry for the Germans' ability to come back.
Oh, Scrunk Kid just caught out by that one-way from Mezzy. Very smart play from him there, just to take advantage of that corner of that smoke. Find himself that open. That's exactly what GamerLegion need in these rounds like this. Nice boost from Slacks. No one going to give it to him for now, though. No one peeking over towards long. They're just holding this one from Bank. He's got the angle if they choose to peek out. He spots the arm. Oh, my goodness. What a flick onto Mezzy. Can't even go for the jump spot there as he gets punished. Things come out into a 4-on-4, 40 seconds on the clock now. aTTaX need to make their move, but GamerLegion are countering it with aggression, and as the smokes go up, they're able to shut it down. 2 quick kills coming in, and a 4-on-2 now for aTTaX to try and pick up the pieces.
It's been beautiful CT play so far from GamerLegion. Every round they seem to be going from strength to strength, and aTTaX need to just be saving at this point. There's very little chance they're going to get into this 2-on-4. They drop both the rifles, and now they have lost the round as well. GamerLegion winning it out and securing the 2-round lead now as they're on a 5-round streak, and aTTaX do not have enough cash in the bank to justify a full buy. They've got to drop down onto the pistols and theoretically provide GamerLegion with their 6th.
That was absolutely perfect from GamerLegion. That was actually something that I've never really seen before played out like that. It's a 4 versus 4. They know that there's limited time on the clock, and aTTaX have to commit to that A site. They know that they're going to have to throw their setup smokes because they haven't done so yet, and they just counter it with pure aggression, take them out whilst they're setting up, and secure that round before the push even comes through. It was absolutely perfect. This is just a complete cleanup right now. They're just against the pistols, not really letting it phase them at all. Meerbit, last alive with the MAC-10, might be able to do some damage here. He's got the bomb on his back, so I think realistically he's hoping for a bomb plant, but GamerLegion are playing this one well. They've still got 2 players stacked up over towards this B site, and I think it's very unlikely that he'd be able to get that bomb down.
I have to agree with that assessment. Very little opportunity for Meerbit to find his way in here, but on just the MAC-10, He just wants that bonus catch. Era at close range will put him down with the AWP. Instead, it's Zero's AK that gets it done, but the result is the same. A 6th round for GamerLegion on the board as they hunt for their 7th. This is not the start that Alternate Attacks were looking for here on Overpass. They don't have to be worried just yet. They can still recover this half and head into their stronger CT side in the second. They only need to be concerned if they allow this GamerLegion streak to continue much more. 1 or 2 more lost gun rounds in this half would be very worrying for the Germans indeed.
It really would. GamerLegion are getting into dangerous territory now. They're sort of a couple of rounds away from making this a really, really good half. When it's your own map pick, that is not what you want. Especially when it's your own map pick against a team that you should be really confident against, because actually just statistically you're the much better side. It really sort of shakes you up when you take a disadvantage like this early on in your map pick. Era still playing in this toilets area with this AWP. Timing not quite working out in his favor as Skrunk's now allowed to get close, and he should be able to come out on top here, but Rusty's there to support his teammate, and they've actually got a perfect back-to-back setup in that toilets area. Cannot be broken. The man advantage goes in the favor of GamerLegion.
Time and time again, they've been able to find these opening kills, and it's always on to Skrunk, it feels. Check his KD out. Nothing done yet on the T side, as he's just getting wrecked at the start of every round. You literally see it on the scoreboard now. They're trying to charge into the B bomb site, but this crossfire is just chewing the T side players up. Cressy is all alone as Era finds Slacks. He'll find the AWPer, but Mezzi cleans him up, and the sniper is recovered by the CT side. And now that this timeout comes through, we have an opportunity to talk about esports millions. If you check out at the Esports Bible on Twitter, their pinned tweet has a chance for you to win a Main Gear Gaming PC. All you need to do is retweet and participate in esports millions. Esports millions round 2 is live. This time, Unicorn are offering to everyone who participates a chance to win a Main Gear Vibe Stage 3 PC, and the top 50 answers will also share a $5,000 of Unicorn bets. This is all just a lead up to the €1 million giveaway during Cups 3 and 4. Anyone who answers all 10 questions right will win the last. Get involved at ukrn.io/esports millions. It's the Pistols again for alternate attacks in this round, and hopefully this timeout has given them an opportunity to adjust their strategies.
Hopefully that's the case, but it's really not looking good for them because GamerLegion, they're just so in control right now. They have such a strong read on the game so far, and just converting these rounds with these, they find themselves the first 2 openers. It is going to be traded out by Stefan, but Zero's there to support his teammate. As Adam finds one more, this is just another complete shutdown of a round. GamerLegion, as I was saying before, every single round, they just seem to be in control. They have a perfect read. If we go back to the last buy round, they had that default setup. They went for a little bit of aggression over towards toilets early on. They actually had a 3-man stack in toilets where they had the AWPer sort of watching for the party and connector area, and then they had one watching close in case the AWPer got pushed, and then one watching his back on long. And then slowly that started to disband after they found that first pick, and they started to pull the rotations over towards B later in the round, and it meant that as soon as that B execute came through, there was actually 3 players ready and waiting to shut it down. This time, aggression doesn't quite pay off for them. Alternate attacks, for the first time in what seems like forever, they find the opening pick. Let's see if they can convert the round off of it.
They're very passive in this one, alternate attacks. Seemingly aware they've been losing the first man. And so now they don't want to overextend. They've earned the early advantage, so the ball is in GamerLegion's court to make an adjustment. And they're anticipating whether that adjustment is going to involve any calculated aggression. It has on so many occasions for the GamerLegion CT side, but this time, because the opening frag has failed, it looks like they don't want to overplay their hand either and thin out their defense is too greatly. They still back into a more passive angle, and Adam has an opportunity to reply here. He finds the
Timing was impeccable in that situation. As soon as he unscoped, he swings out, and here Scrunk should be able to trade this, I'd like to think, but as his team 3, a tall order for him to clutch up, but one that has to be done.
Yet to frag so far, this map is Scrunk. That's the first kill he needs, but he can't get any more. Zero takes him down and wins it out for GamerLegion. 9-3. Now alternate attacks, they should be starting to sweat. Although their CT side is stronger, this round deficit is getting a little bit too great to come back from, especially if they lose the second pistol now. So they really need to focus up. I need to see some more of that explosive firepower that we saw at the start of this map. It seems like GamerLegion, ever since they've been going aggressive and getting those early kills, alternate attacks have just been shocked by it and retreated back somewhat into a more passive playstyle. If they start coming back out with bigger statements, more aggression, and trying to go for those quick refrag scenarios, I think they'll have a better opportunity of winning these rounds.
That stronger CT side might not be enough to save alternate attacks at this point. They're going for another B execute. There are 3 players again, though, ready and waiting to take care of it. Scrunk with this Mac 10 charges and again does loads of damage but can't convert it. It's Cressy to find all 3 with the Galil spray down. Still a 3 versus 2, though. And 8 comes in, might be able to deny the bomb plant, can't quite do it, but the AWP comes in from error, brings it back into a 2-on-2. This is a very doable situation for GamerLegion. The damage has been dealt. They just have to get in here, and this AWP isn't the best weapon for Error to have in this situation. There's nothing around him for him to switch out to. As they start to close in now, that Molotov not going to help things out at all.
That was the 1-2 punch strat. Deal the damage with the Mac-10 and finish them up with the AK. Very little time left for GamerLegion to retake, as now Era's gone down. Mezzy up close has virtually no chance of winning this one on 10 HP. He's just going to look for a last kill, but he can't even accomplish that, and that is exactly what I was talking about from alternate attacks. They go in quicker, and this time that Mac-10 strategy works as it's supposed to. They fly it over the top, it draws attention away and allows Cressy then to swing out right and secure the 3 kills he was looking for. They've finally broken the streak of alternate attacks, but I think GamerLegion might just have enough money going forward to buy out for the rest of this half. And I mentioned it a little bit earlier, you saw it on your screen just there. Check out the standings of esports millions at esm.grid.gg.
Oh, Error so dynamic with this AWP this time, takes a different stance and finds that early pick onto Slacks. Very nice stuff from him. Sometimes we see him aggressing from party, sometimes we see him aggressing from long. Very, very difficult to predict where that AWP is going to be when he's just that dynamic. Alternate attacks on the back foot already again. Minute 15 now on the clock as they stack up over towards B. They've made quite a lot of noise, though. I'm not sure if Adam can hear it from where he is. I think he might have heard at least one of them. He's in a good position here, though, ready and waiting. And there are actually 3 CT players, again, ready to hold this one up. Adam should be able to convert the first, and as the smoke goes down, there's no trade potential whatsoever. A 2-man advantage now for GamerLegion to work with, and to add insult to injury, that grenade actually does a fair amount of damage.
This is a clinical B hold from GamerLegion at the moment, and you see it from alternate attacks. As soon as they slow down, they just get ripped apart by this aggressive GamerLegion setup. They just swing around for information at the right time, even though they haven't pushed out for those kills. They're just sitting in the site and earning them by taking the gunfights at this point. Alternate attacks, they've had 1 round in recent memory where they've gone quickly and tried to charge into a bomb site, and that's the 1 out of the last 10 rounds that they've won.
Realistically, it's just one of those rounds as well that you win just due to the pure fact that GamerLegion, their whole setup is around the basis of alternate attacks as default that we've been seeing so many rounds. So alternate attacks changing it up, charging in with some aggression, it really caught them off guard. But I don't think they'd be able to do that again. If you look at how early these Molotovs are being thrown, they're actually getting ready for fast aggression. And I think that that's exactly what they're expecting in round number 15. It's not actually what they're going to get, despite the fact that alternate attacks are just down to pistols and Mat-10s, or Galil or Mirbit. They are actually playing this one slower, taking this connector control that earlier on, GamerLegion were contesting, but in the last few rounds, they've completely given it up. And it means that alternate attacks give themselves some leg room to work with early on as they push into the toilets.
And now they're looking to use that more explosive playstyle, charging up to the A site, but Rusty's here to try and deny. It's Mezzy who's found the first kill, and more damage is being dealt to Cressy, but he's just tucked in that corner and staying alive for the moment. Unfortunately, his teammates are falling all around him, and Scrunk gets one back before Zero takes him down, and this Deagle from Slack, the last hope from alternate attacks. It can't get anything done, and the 11-4 half secured from GamerLegion here on their opponent's map pick. And bear in mind, alternate attacks are a side who are at least 30 places above GamerLegion in the world rankings at the moment. Now the Germans switch on to that easier CT side, but this head-to-head, it feels like it's definitely been more the Mezzy show than Cressy so far in Overpass.
It really has been, and that's actually the highlighted stats we saw on HOTV. Those two players were the head-to-head star players that needed to show up, and Mezzy, time and time again, pulls it off. He's absolutely on fire this game, and if he can keep this up, GamerLegion could definitely close this one out. What they need to make sure they do right now is maintain this momentum. Take this pistol round and close it out. Don't allow this to come back and become a close affair. Adam right now in a fantastic position to find a kill, but he only gets the dink in. Rusty's the one to convert it. A 4 versus 4 now, as it's looking like they are actually heading over towards this B site, but Stefan lands himself 2 very nice kills. Looking for the third as well. This is looking like alternate attacks his round for the taking, and as something goes horribly wrong for them.
Just can't get done there by GamerLegion at the end. The 2-on-4, it's 2 crossfires for either pistol to walk into, and they're unable to get it accomplished. And now this is something that I saw in both the Crazy Level Up series yesterday and the Izako Boar's Big Academy series. Strong starts and then what looks like comebacks towards the end. GamerLegion have to play the correct economic game here. When they bring their buy forward, it needs to have all the trimmings. Too many times have I seen sides have incredibly strong first starts, then rush in too early with their first buy and end up losing it out, which gives your opponents a 4 or 5 round streak at the start of their half and a great opportunity to build momentum.
Well, for now, GamerLegion going for the right play, just sticking to this full eco, allowing alternate attacks to get themselves to 6 before they can pull out the buy, which is still a comfortable 5-round lead to work with. This should just be a clean-up for alternate attacks. They're making a bit of a meal out of it, but they should be able to convert it. There we go. FAMAS coming in, doing the damage. Mirbit cleans it up, and alternate attacks put themselves onto 6 and actually keep all 5 players alive. And considering the fact that they took a lot of damage that round, that's actually pretty impressive.
It certainly is. They keep them all up, and that's the critical factor in those second rounds for the CT side, just making sure you don't have to reinvest and hurt your own economy. Now GamerLegion on the T side, just working with those 5 AK smokes, flashes, and a singular Molotov. There's no fire to delay them pushing out A, and the aggression is being punished from alternate attacks. Adam and Zero, big double kill here now as Cressy's FAMAS has to try and reply. He gets a single kill, but the man advantage still lies with his opponents at the moment, and that early aggression read well by GamerLegion and dealt with.
Well, that's a really audacious and somewhat foolish peek with that scout. Because if you're going for that pick with the AWP, you know that you peek up, you connect that shot, and then you can fall off of it, yeah? But when you're there with the scout, unless you hit the headshot, you're just going to tag someone and then inevitably get traded. And that's exactly what happened there. But instead, once he got traded, his teammate tried to swing to help him out, and he just peeked straight into 4 angry T players that just completely shut it down. So the man advantage now leaning over towards GamerLegion as they start to apply some pressure over towards the A site. And, well, little do they know, they've actually got a free A bomb site to walk straight onto. The rotation's very, very slow from alternate attacks. I'm not even sure if they're going to go for this one. I think
they're saving already, yeah. They're backing away. They show no interest in rotating over to that A bomb site. And GamerLegion are going to win their first full gun round. That is definitely not the situation that alternate attacks wanted to be in during this second half. They're going to go 12-6 down, and I'm not sure whether they can invest. Now, Cressy and Stefan have got huge amounts of bank built up in their pockets. They're going to have to drop, it looks like, or maybe not anyone. They might just be able to get a full buyout coming forward into the next round, although it is going to be rather costly for this German side. They're going to be thankful for a second opportunity, I think, to try and deny GamerLegion more momentum on this T side, but they need to play this next round a lot more passively. That early aggression was punished severely.
That's always the issue when you go for that bonus round when your opponents are so far ahead. And actually, with GamerLegion being 5 away from 16, by alternate attacks going for that bonus round, effectively allowing them a freebie, now puts them within 4 of closing this one out. And alternate attacks, well, you're absolutely right. They need to buy into this one, but they absolutely have to convert it. Otherwise, GamerLegion put themselves onto 13. Alternate attacks have no money in the bank. They can put themselves onto 14, and then it almost becomes unsalvageable. It's, of course, doable, but very, very unlikely.
And this timeout gives us the opportunity to talk about Unicorn, who have the most CSGO betting options in the world. If you join Unicorn today, you could get 80 euros of bets from a 20 euro deposit. Bet on yourself in CSGO pubs, bet on pro teams, or get fresh esports matches 24/7, even when events are offline. Unicorn won Esports Bookmaker of the Year in 2019. You can find out why with your first 300% deposit bonus using code RELOG, RELOG. 12-6 lead. GamerLegion have the advantage, but alternate attacks have better weapons this time. Slacks has an AWP instead of that scout, but it's the B bomb site which will dictate whether the T's continue to streak or whether alternate attacks start to fight back.
A bit of early utility from GamerLegion. Does minimal damage, does get me a bit down to 65, but that's going to be all. They start to lean over towards this A bomb site. That's where they're going to be carrying the C4. Pretty spread out default right now, though. They're all just around the map, hoping for some kind of aggression, want to find some kind of pick. Stefan just jiggle peeking this monster angle, not going to find himself anything. GamerLegion are actually playing this really smart right now. Zero might be able to find himself something as this flash goes over. No one peeking into it, and that might give him an illusion of a somewhat empty B site, when in fact there are 3 CTs ready and waiting there. Slacks with this AWP, needs to connect this shot onto Adam. If he gets taken out here, this could be dire. Instead, he starts to fall back.
It's the right call. He needs to play off of his teammates here. With that AWP, if he gets traded out, it's not effective at all. It puts so much pressure then onto Cressy to defend the A-bomb site on his own. And he'd have multiple channels to worry about in that scenario instead. It's going to be the B-bomb site that's attacked by GamerLegion. The counter utility nowhere to be seen for now from alternate attacks, as their money was rather strained, but the opening kills have not been found by the T side. Adam gets one here and now follows up into the site, and Scrunk is so alone. He needs his teammates to arrive and bail him out on this FAMAS, but GamerLegion are going to aggress no further. They've spotted Scrunk out at close range now and will communicate that information, and the FAMAS might just find a kill. It runs out of ammo just at the last moment, but this retake looks still good for alternate attacks.
Both T players on GamerLegion right now are so low, but as the clock winds down, they need to speed up this retake. Mezzy might not get the timing quite right, but as he's dancing around this smoke, his teammate's actually able to come in and find one, but both the kills come through from alternate attacks, and they should be able to get this bomb just in time. Of course, no kit, but yeah, they've got enough time on that defuse.
Yeah, they knew they had to put the accelerator on that retake, which is why they started running in at the time, and they did manage to win it out. That play in the B-bomb site working out rather well for alternate attacks. They have the 3-man stack. The first 2 players do their job. They find the opening kills, and then Scrunk can just stay alive for long enough on that FAMAS to draw in his teammates on the rotation, and he does a healthy amount of damage with it there as well. So that is the textbook B defense for alternate attacks, and now the momentum builder as GamerLegion are going to take that fire damage in order to get out aggressively towards Fountain, but it's been a little bit needless as there's no one from the German side here to meet them.
An all-out buy from GamerLegion, no AWP available. In its place, there's only a Mac 10 on Adam. Decent amount of utility for them to work with, but they've all taken a sizable chunk of damage early on from that Molotov that they decided to run through. I think they were really hoping there that that Molotov would then be a kind of control gainer for alternate attacks. They throw that deep Molotov, they try and get some aggression into Fountain, and by GamerLegion actually charging right through it, they wanted to contest that and take those early gunfights. Instead, they just took a whole load of damage. Right now, a good setup. Look at this boost come through. Mirbit's able to find the first, but the spam comes straight through the wall, and that's always the danger in that boost. That wall is paper thin, and it goes right back the other way as we find ourselves in a 4-on-4. 40 seconds on the clock now. GamerLegion need to make their move, and it's looking like that move might be over towards A.
Cressy, the first man, perhaps to be pressured, but instead GamerLegion are going to try and attack this B bomb site again. There's only 2 players for them to worry about this time, and they like their chances slightly more in this scenario. Stefan up close has to be the first man they find, though, with 20 seconds left. I think they've just left this too late. There's too much damage that these few players are able to do and deny the bomb plant here. But Era's found the second kill. This should be the plant confirmed, and alternate attacks, they might have just backed away from this one. I think they have. They're going to go and save their rifles forward as check out the cash on the CT side. It's not looking so flush at all. Cressy on 50, Scrunk on just about 200, and GamerLegion with a 13th round in their back pocket.
GamerLegion are doing really well here to continue to apply this pressure, not allow alternate attacks to string together too many in a row. I mean, looking at that round, that's so unfortunate from Stefan there. He had the perfect play. Get into that corner, stare into the wall, make sure you're playing the anti-flash, and then as the flashes come over, you swing into it and find those kills. But instead, he started to second-guess himself. He started to question whether, instead of going in full guns blazing, throwing over the flashes, they were instead shift walking up that monster area. And he turns around, peeks into it just as the flash pops and gets punished for doing so. GamerLegion now 6 ahead as they trade rounds back and forth. Alternate attacks with those 2 rifles saved should be able to pull out something into this round, but oh, it's not exactly what you want. Slacks is just about able to pull out an AWP, but at the deficit of Stefan and Mirbit being on a FAMAS and an MP9. No offensive utility either, only a Molotov and a HE to work with. They need to find these early kills, and for now, unable to do so.
This is a Hail Mary buy from the Germans. They lose this round. They've basically given GamerLegion map point with their economy being considered as well. They get 1 kill at the start, but it's immediately traded by GamerLegion. Now, I suppose you could say, fortunately for alternate attacks, it's just Scrunk who's fallen early. He's been a player more focused on creating space utility-wise and perhaps more tactically involved in this alternate attacks overpass side, as opposed to more involved with the fragging. And so we might see the effect of that over on a B bomb site if an execution does choose to come through. This boost has failed, unfortunately, as there's 3 man stacked in B and only 1 defending A. GamerLegion, they still look like they want to attack the lower site.
They're in a good position to do so. Of course, that man disadvantage not making it the easiest. Just applying pressure for now, though, with their presence. 30 seconds on the clock. They really need to make their move. They haven't really got time to rotate over round 2A. They need to commit to this B bomb site. Utility usage has been pretty good from alternate attacks, considering they really didn't have a lot to work with early on. For them to actually be using it this late on in the round is so good. But as Mirbit and Stefan find the 2 kills needed, it leaves Rusty in a 1-on-3. No time to even clutch this one up, even if he does find the kills. And he gets punished for swinging out. Alternate attacks put their 8th on the board, now trailing 5 behind their opponents. And are GamerLegion going to force up into this one? They've got some money to work with, but it's not really enough to pull out what they'd want.
That was a bit of a tunnel vision round there from GamerLegion. They just set their sights on B and never really looked away from it. There was so much map control to be had over towards A. Even if they just sent 1 player to lurk long or the bathrooms, virtually the whole time those regions of the map were free, as GamerLegion instead were just trying to peek out dry and earn an opening kill on the B bomb site. It was a rather confusing decision, and this buy, not the healthiest either. 1 AK supported by 4 pistols to try and benefit that T-side economy a little bit here. They need just 3 rounds to close out this map, but alternate attacks, they're doing a great job of holding on at the moment. They just need to start streaking this CT side. They can't afford to be trading rounds either side, and they really need to get comfortably through rounds like this. If they lose 3 or 4 on the CT side to these pistols, they're still in a lot of danger when the 4 guns come out.
I think this buy is a confusing decision. Why Zero's fully invested when his teammates haven't is beyond me, but for now it seems to be working out for them. Cressy, the only man on the site to try and hold this one up, does get the spray through, but can only convert the 1 kill. The man advantage now sitting with GamerLegion as they're able to retrieve for themselves a rifle. The retake needs to come through here, and for now they're converting the frags needed. Comes down to a 2-on-1 for Error to clutch up. He's got the tools to work with, then he brings it into 1.
Stefan, 100 HP versus Era's 30. And he knows the angle as well. He's just had the timing. He's now on the upper headshot angle, and he's landed it. Era, triple kill in the round. Bails GamerLegion out of that A-site execution and secures them 14. Look what he's done to alternate attacks' economy as well. Down in the dumps is the German economy, and that might have just been enough for GamerLegion to steal this map away from their opponents. The pick of the Germans, no less, in this best-of-3 series, at which it's all to play for. Elimination with loss and advancement with win.
Well, I really started to question why they had invested Zero with that AK when they all had sort of around the same amount of cash. They were sitting on sort of 2,000, 2,500. He went sort of right back to the wall, but all out with that AK. And I was like, what is he doing here? If they lose this round, which is likely they will, he won't be able to invest properly into the next with the rest of his team. But when you look at his stats, it's absolutely clear why they did so. That AK gave them just enough firepower to tip it over the edge. And Zero, sitting on 22 frags right now, absolutely the man to put with that weapon. The Serbian player really, really showing up to this match, and I think the scoreline shows it. 14-8 right now. A full investment from alternate attacks, and if they can't convert this one, this should be map going in the way of GamerLegion. And for now, it's not looking good for them at all.
It really isn't. Stefan's the only man in the B-bomb site who can try and stop an execution coming through at the moment. He has an AK recovered, and he has a teammate lurking around in connector as well, but he has 3 players to find, and they know exactly where he is. Rusty rips off his head, and Slacks now needs a 1v3 to deny map point. He's going for the hopeful smoke spam, but he might just want to save his AK forward. His team have no cash in the bank, and they're going to be 15-8 down at some point. I don't know if he wants to commit towards this. He has no choice. He has to walk into Era's crosshairs to try and escape, and that's enough to give the European mix map point.
After GamerLegion's dominant first half performance, I said it at half time, and I really led the question of, will they keep this up? You see time and time again, they have a dominant first half, and then they let it slip in the second, their opponents bring it back, and it either ends up going the other way, or it ends up going to overtime or something like that. This game, GamerLegion have just applied the pressure the entire match. It really feels like they've been in control the whole time. As they sit 15-8 right now, it's just the pistols to contest this match point. Alternate attacks need to hit the headshots in this round to keep alive. And the issue is for them right now is it's not like this is their opponent's map pick and it doesn't matter, because even though they're like the stronger side coming into this, they can bounce back in the second. Off of this, they have to go onto Mirage, which is their weakest map. It's really not where you want to be if you're alternate attacks right now. They've definitely just woken up on the wrong side of the bed, and well, they need to start waking up here if they want to convert this series, because this is elimination day. You do not want to be in this position this early on.
You're absolutely right. Mirage as well. I mean, just such an unknown quantity for alternate attacks. Certainly not something I'd be confident on if this was their map pick. And they are so desperate for this round. Anything that they can have to keep them alive on overpass, they're wishing they can earn. They've 4-man stacked this B-bomb site, but they only have pistols. and so little utility. 2 flashes and 1 smoke to try and stop this. Skrunk's found the first shot at least. They're both tagged down, and they found Era as well, so the rifles are trying to stabilize. They've dropped the bomb in this B bomb site though, GamerLegion, with 20 seconds left to go. Again, they've tunnel visioned into this B bomb site and tried to just walk in against the attack stack.
They're actually going for the save call here in this scenario. As soon as they realize that they're against the stack, they should just bounce right back, rotate over towards A, try their luck over there. But of course, dropping that bomb means they've got absolutely no chance. An alternate attack, stay afloat and around that they really shouldn't have been able to. Gives them a lifeline to work with, means that they can invest into this one. They're still not going to have the best of buys, to be honest. I think maybe a couple of rifles can be dropped, but I think there'll definitely be limited utility for them to work with. GamerLegion still a decent chance of closing this one out. They are investing fully into this, but they are down to a scout on Era, a Galil on Adam. An alternate attacks now, potential to put themselves onto double digits if they can convert this one.
This is something perhaps GamerLegion might look to work on going forward in the future, is just having a lurk player over towards the A side of the map, even if he's not too aggressive. Just getting a little bit of map control over there would have taught them that there is no, there's basically nobody defending this A bomb site. All 4 of the alternate attack players were stacked in to be there, and some clever pushes can definitely get it done at the right time. Zero's movement is excellent to stay alive and find the first kill. Even though he gets cleared up by Mirbit, it's so likely he just falls without doing anything to that crossfire that at least he's found some damage. And this is what I do like for GamerLegion. When they probe A and it doesn't work, they're happy to just turn around and take that long control straight away.
Well, as soon as their lurker falls, they have to take some control to try and counter it. And actually, the leg room being given to them is absolutely huge. They can get right up close to this smoke. Skrunk gets himself in a good position right now. I did sort of question it initially, but it absolutely makes sense for him to be sitting here. He'll hear the sound cues coming in from long, and they certainly won't be expecting him on this close angle. He should be good for at least one here. But his teammates are coming in and actually converting the frags. They find themselves at a man advantage anyway. The run boost comes through, but it doesn't work out at all. Slacks picks him out the air. Skrunk can't convert it. And Slacks actually misses a really important shot, but it doesn't matter. Stefan's there to pick up the pieces. And alternate attacks put themselves onto 10. Still a long road ahead to take this one to OT, but they're doing exactly what's needed. And GamerLegion right now haven't got the money to invest into this round. Alternate attacks should be able to put themselves onto 11. And this is looking like a much closer match. Bearing in mind, GamerLegion had such an early lead.
One mistake is all it took, walking into those 4 stacked pistols, and that's given alternate attacks now the chance to really work their way back into this game. GamerLegion have to take the eco here, but in the next full gun round, it'll be a 15-11 score line favoring GamerLegion, and they'll have another 4 chances still to close out this map and earn the advantage early on. Up from Slacks, just holding the bathrooms angle, should be able to find easy kills here. There's no utility on the B side to flash him off. They're dealing tags, at least with the Deagles, but they're not yet able to take him down, and this supporting rifler should be able to clean the pistols up anyway.
Oh, the nade does a little bit of damage, but as Cressy finds himself another, these pistols, they needed to be a little bit more explosive than this. Their only real chance was to charge right into this bomb site, try and take those initial aim duels, and try and get that bomb down on their side of the boxes. But instead, they just kind of walked up, got picked off one by one. Zero's just in an impossible situation here. Best he can hope for is 1 kill, and it's not going to happen. Slacks actually finishes him off with a very nice AWP shot. Alternate attacks put themselves within 4 of taking this one to OT. GamerLegion now do have the money behind them to buy, but an AWP wouldn't be available. I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, they are going to go for this. It will just be a 5 rifle setup. Messi actually down to the Galil so that he can get the full utility in. It's not the best of buys, but it might just be sufficient.
They have to go for it there as well, because if they eco, they give alternate attacks 15-12, then they have a gun round. If they lose it, they give them 15-13, and their economy's then wrecked for the remaining 2. You're then looking at potentially your next gun round in the last of the map, and at that point your momentum is so dried up that alternate attacks can really push you into overtime. Whereas if you take a gun round now, you have a chance to win 16-11. You lose, it's 15-12, you have to drop down onto the pistols perhaps for 1 round, and then you have another gun round at 15-13 and another gun round at 15-15. But Zero creeping out, can't find the kills at this point in time, and I'm getting a bit of deja vu from yesterday's series in which there were multiple occasions sides have been in the lead across multiple different series, and yet they look to be throwing it away in the late stages.
GamerLegion, off of losing their man, they respond with grouping up, heading over towards B together. They know they've dealt some damage there. Unaware of how many players are actually stacked up over towards that B side, but Mezzi with that Galil actually does a lot of spam damage onto Stefan. That means that 2 players on B are now low. The rotation has been pulled though, so Skrunk is now there to support. It will be 3 men on the B side to try and hold this one up. Alternate attacks have been really good at rotating these men over so far on this CT side and making sure that they're playing the numbers game, but this time the numbers are back to a 4-on-4. Mezzi finds the first onto Stefan. Adam finds another. This is falling apart for alternate attacks, and this could be all she wrote unless Mirbit goes huge here.
Cressy's found a big kill as well. It's still winnable from alternate attacks. There's a man in the back lines, and GamerLegion haven't peaked it. Mirbit now decides to open up, and Mezzi does take him down. Cressy on just 14, but time there for the attack side. GamerLegion, once again, they leave it too late to attack the B bomb site, and they can't get anything done towards the end of the round. This is the nightmare scenario now, and if I was a betting man, I'd say we're heading into overtime.
It is coming so close time and time again. If GamerLegion had a few more seconds on the clock there, they absolutely could have made that work. Cressy was a huge player in that round. Mirbit was the player behind the barrels who made that one work, just made his position unknown for the entirety of the round. His entire job was to just poke his head out and deny that bomb plant in the closing seconds, securing them that round. GamerLegion now. Well, they're still 3 ahead, but they're forced down to the pistols. They should be able to buy into the next with the loss bonus. There's an opportunity for them to convert this one. They've actually all got Kevlar, they've got pistols, they've got utility to work with. But look at this boost coming through from Slacks. You should be able to find at least one here. Does exactly that. Puts the numbers in alternate attacks' favor early on again.
GamerLegion trying to charge into the A site now, but they're just being chewed to pieces. It looks like they're, I don't know, it looks like they're out of the map. I really don't have much else to comment on the matter. All of that impressive T-side work we saw at the beginning of the half, it's all dried up. They're struggling to get into bomb sites now, and it's basically been these critical key mistakes from the GamerLegion side. 2 rounds on their T side now, where they've decided to walk straight into a stacked B bomb site, having not even checked out the situation on A. And it's 2 rounds that they've lost apart at critical moments as well, that have forced them down onto those ecos and have allowed economic momentum to go the way of alternate attacks. GamerLegion call the timeout here, but this is their last chance. If they don't win this gun round, they're down onto the pistols, and the German side are hunting for 15-15. It's not even as though it's been a super impressive CT half for alternate attacks. It's been a half in which they've been gamble stacking the B bomb site at the right times.
Well, it comes heavily down to the fact as well that these key players in these last few rounds just haven't been showing up for GamerLegion. 5 rounds ago, Zero was sitting 22-10, which is a ridiculous performance. As we go 5 rounds on, he's 24-15. He's been lurking over towards that B short area round after round and just having hardly any luck with it at all. Ends up getting taken down in really unfortunate situations. As Mirbit gets aggressive over towards there again, it is Zero on the lurk, this time not getting too aggressive. He's playing right back deep monster. Instead, they're taking the control elsewhere. Running down this clock, alternate attacks. They're playing up close, getting all of the info that they need right now. It's still no commitment from GamerLegion, so alternate attacks are still guessing.
Trying to sell the fake on A and the GamerLegion side. Stefan up close is the first man under pressure. He's dropped the bomb on Eero, and that's enough to bring all of the rotation through. Messi finds a big kill. Rusty as well onto Mirbit. This is the good start that GamerLegion had the last time, and this time Mirbit is not in a smoke to try and defend against them on the flank. 3-on-2 as Cressy cleans up a low HP Rusty, and this bomb hasn't yet been planted in the B bomb site. It's not quite safe, but Messi has brought it into a 1 versus 3 at the last chance possible for GamerLegion. They seem to have brought it back, and now Slacks on the AWP has to go aggressive with that AWP, finds the first kill, and would need 2 more to keep the Germans alive. Zero and Mezzi now with a crossfire set up. The smoke buys just enough space for him to peek left first, and he's found the shot. 1-on-1 needed onto Messi now, who's dancing around the smoke to try and win the 1v1, and he lands the headshot. A devastating loss for Slacks. Commendations to him, but GamerLegion have been able to take their opponent's pick 16-13.
I have no idea what was said in that timeout, but Messi was just unleashed going into that B-bomb site, finds himself 4 kills, and just tips GamerLegion over the edge when it was looking oh so dangerous. Against all odds, they take their opponent's map pick, and now we're going on to Mirage, which is a map that they've got a good chance of winning. This could seriously be a 2-0 series.
It really could, folks. Find out whether or not GamerLegion have it in the tank to 2-0 after this quick break.
best case scenario for GamerLegion is they take this 2-0, which would be a huge underdog story.
And they'd advance to the playoffs as well over a team who are substantially further ahead of them in the world rankings. Now, in that first map, there were a few things that were going wrong for aTTaX, primarily their CT side. Primarily their T side. They really couldn't get anything going on that portion of the map at all, and that was really because of GamerLegion's aggression. Now, I was thinking partway through that map, Scrunk was a player who was really struggling to frag throughout it, especially in that first half, but I was actually watching the strat book yesterday, and Legia was talking about if you ever see players get pushed through smokes all of the time and they're just getting completely wrecked by these unorthodox pushes, it's very likely they're looking up at the minimap or trying to communicate with their team in that regard. And Scrunk himself as a player is coming into the IGL of aTTaX, having been the coach of that roster just a few months ago. So he himself might be struggling in terms of fitting into that in the B side.
I think that may have been quite clear in the first map. As they charge right in, it's quite a bizarre pistol round. We see a lot of utility on both sides, and it's all been expended for aTTaX. It's allowed them to get onto this B site, but the retake's already here, and Rusty opens it up with the first headshot. For now, the Glocks unable to connect themselves anything. As Mezzi finds one more, they're getting completely shut down here, and it's Meerbit in a 1-on-4 to try and pull this one off. But GamerLegion have actually played this perfectly. It's very bizarre to see a team play B retake like that, but they've done it. They've executed it perfectly. They've kept 4 players alive, and they've taken the pistol round.
Wonderful news for the European mix on their map pick, and they are in still the crucial stages of the early game. That CT economy is going to be precarious up until about round 5. At any point, a loss could drop them down onto an eco. Even if they win the first 4 rounds in a row in some cases and lose round 5, they can be on an eco straight away and have aTTaX a chance to really fight back into this map. So winning rounds at the start of the CT side is important, but doing it with 3 or more players alive, perhaps more so.
Absolutely. This buy, though, from GamerLegion, they've opted over towards these SMGs, but they should know there's a good chance they're up against the buy. Of course, aTTaX did get the plant in the last. Means that Stefan and Cressy can have these AKs, but at the expense of actually Min for now. Cressy takes out Adam. Stefan finds one as well, and this is actually looking really good for aTTaX, as they're just powered GamerLegion, and it's all on Mezzi now to try and get something done. Should be able to find this game. A 3-on-1 for him to try and clutch up, and it's against the players with the rifles and the armor.
GamerLegion just try and take 1-on-1 engagements, expecting weaker weaponry, and instead they're just peas apart. And GamerLegion, they win the pistol, but there's very little chance that Mezzi's going to be able to win this 1v3 with just a FAMAS and the limited time he has left over, and especially now that his position is known and his head's been taken down. The Germans reply straight away, so they have the opportunity now to build that early economic momentum. And GamerLegion, they have to take at least 1 eco here, but it looks like maybe 2. So they're just going to be dumping in for that cash anyway, as they'd be on the double eco regardless.
In the second round, works wonders for the aTTaX economy and does the out for them though. Stefan found himself 3, Cressy with 2. But this early aggression with this guy choose to peek though. Messi's in a good position to take his head clean off. On the clock. Alternate attacks, just slowly but surely taking map control.
Making sure they don't fall foul to the CT pistols. With a minute or so ticked down, they're going to start to probe into the A-bomb site via connect. A much more impressive round for GamerLegion. They win a force by themselves, but they only had one rifle to work with.
That is a really weird situation. Not only do they come out on top there, but they actually keep 4 players alive. All 4 players retrieve AKs. So as we go into round number 4, alternate attacks have forced into this one again. They've got 2 rifles and a few pistols to work with. And GamerLegion are effectively a T side right now. They've got 4 AKs and an M4 to work with here as the mid push does cut through. Flax does open it up with 2 quick frags. And this could bounce right back into a 2-2 already. The alternate attacks a 2-man advantage early on. What on earth is going on right now on Mirage?
It looks like both sides are trying to get confident and make these plays that are going to firmly earn the rounds in their favor, and they're just not anticipating the level of resistance that their opponents are displaying. Mirbit's still alive. That grenade might not even clear him out. It goes too deep. And the Molotov should stall an attack, though. It's slightly mistimed to deal any damage. And now, alternate attacks are going to push through underpass on to A. This needs to be heard by Adam, and kills need to be found as well. Great nade as they're being chewed up at the moment. Check this one out as well. Boom! Down goes Slacks. Mirbit and Cressy left in a 2-on-3.
Well, there was so much info gained there. Alternate attacks had to make the steps, and well, in fact, they didn't really have to make the steps, but they did, and it was certainly costly for them. The bomb will be able to go down. No one wants to charge through that smoke and try and deny it. They want to maintain this man advantage, try and retake it as a group. They know that Mirbit's low. Instead, they're all going to come in from this, from CT, but Cressy on the long wrap. This might not be expected.
Time ticking down. The bomb's about halfway gone here, so GamerLegion limited for time, and Cressy on short has to land those shots. Without it, there's very little hope at all, especially now that Mirbit's been taken down. And GamerLegion, they do stabilize their own economy eventually, despite losing the second round. They have survived with 3 left alive now, built a decent bank, and will be able to get the 4-buy here in round 5, whereas alternate attacks might just have to take another pistol armor round forward as they preserve their cash for when the AKs can come through.
These rounds have been coming very, very close. We've certainly got an exciting game on our hands, but as you say, GamerLegion pull out ahead. They should comfortably be able to put themselves onto 4 here as well, which is a very nice start to take, especially off of the back of winning that last game. You sort of continue that momentum, start to rack up some rounds on your CT side, and yeah, they're looking really, really good right now. They're really surprising me, and I'm excited to see what they can do later on in the tournament if they do come out on top today. Eagle just squeezing through. It's Scrunk. We didn't see a whole lot from him last game, and I'm hoping that would change here on Mirage. Right now, though, they've got a perfect setup to execute this A site. As the clocks run down, they need to go for these frags.
Desperate to find an opening headshot is Cressy, but he can't get anything at the moment. And with the bomb all the way back in spawn, that is going to be recovered as alternate attacks look to charge further into the A bomb site now. Zero up close has to be very careful, though, underneath the balcony. And he'll put a smoke down to try and stall this Palace push at very minimum, but alternate attacks will collapse into A eventually. And they found a shot now. On to Adam behind triple box. Zero up close, holds down for 2, and with 1 behind him as well, the flank eventually causes him to fall. As Stefan opens up for a second that was very nice indeed, and as he puts the bomb down, he looks for that bonus cash, but may still be put out of the round. Damage dealt by alternate attacks with the Deagles, and perhaps the AKs can look to follow that up and force out some serious investment from GamerLegion should they lose the round.
The AWP finally available in round number 6 for alternate attacks. It Slacks to hold it. control at all, because GamerLegion have run right up mid. They've thrown that smoke, and what that actually does is it keeps alternate attacks guessing. Even if they try to re-aggress and take that mid control, they don't know if anyone's up close. They also don't know who's on what angles, whereas early on they'd be able to get around that corner and actually have that advantage of the fact that they're there first, so they can take those early standpoints, they can have the advantage on those angles, and instead it goes the other way. With the flashes, they do regain the mid control, but GamerLegion are actually long gone. That was just the stall play. They run down the clock to a minute, and now the pressure's applied to alternate attacks to speed things up.
Serious pressure applied as well. 50 seconds remaining on the clock, and the bomb not even on a player's back at the moment, as they eventually do look to claim it. And I mean, I couldn't even guess where alternate attacks are going to go based on this setup. It looks like they were waiting for an early kill, and now they want to aggress into B, but this aggression in turn from Mezzi is going to stall it even further. Eventually they are going to push through connector and the apartments by through underpass and the apartments, as Slacks is clearing B short. But with 20 or so seconds left, if a couple of early kills can be found by GamerLegion, that's all that has to be done.
Mezzi needs to find these openings. He converts the first, but can't quite do the second. The 3 versus 2 now for alternate attacks, but they've got very little. Connected by error, though, gives alternate attacks a lifeline, but the bomb has to go down right now, and Zero's here to deny it. He finds himself for 3K, and GamerLegion put themselves on to 5. Line up perfectly, and Zero plays that just to the T. Absolutely fantastic counter-strike from him, and another buy round going in the favor of the CT side.
There may even have been enough time at the end of this round for GamerLegion just to sit back. I'm not quite sure. They picked the bomb up, but by the time it planted, 3 seconds has already ticked in, so I don't that risk when he doesn't need to. Does the beautiful play and finds the double kill, and this is the point where if you're an alternate attacks fan, you are starting to panic as they charge into the A bomb site with the pistols. They will have early site control, but it's another 5-man retake in which GamerLegion have the rifle advantage.
Oh, error. That's the second shot we've seen him miss in these last couple of rounds. That should just be one of those routine ones that he's hitting. Hopefully that doesn't continue. But now not really causing him too many problems as his teammates are picking up the pieces. Rusty just tearing through this, but actually does get taken out. Ooh, error. That was a clinical headshot. Really nice stuff onto Stefan there. Obviously, no helmet on him, so the USP bullet gets straight to his brain. 6-1 now, GamerLegion lead. Alternate attacks will be able to pull out a buy into this one, but they need to change things up. They need to do something differently because their last couple of buy rounds have not worked out for them at all.
They really haven't. It's just been a huge struggle for alternate attacks to get anything going on the T side of Mirage here. And they're really showing it at the moment as well. Only the 1 round found. That was that second round force buy that they brought forward. Since they've had the full guns, they've not looked like being able to secure one of these gun rounds. And this gap in the smoke, nicely timed flash is going to allow alternate attacks out into mid, and Era missing a shot there is going to be punished for it. So this time GamerLegion starting off on the back foot.
It's unfortunate for him there. He actually gets the jump across to short, which early on can get you that pick, but as soon as he gets flashed there, he should just be falling off. Instead, he decides to stay, contest that control, but by that point, 3 players have already pushed through, and they've got so much control right now. Alternate attack should be able to convert this one. The info's not even being relayed, and Meerbit can just go huge. That's Cress's cue to peek, but Slacks right now just playing a game of cat and mouse, and Mezzi comes out on top, retrieves himself an AWP. He's in a 1 versus 4, but he has got the bomb, so a tall order, but absolutely doable. Not if Scrunks is coming in from behind like this, though. And, well, alternate attacks. They take this one with relative ease. Put their second on the board. But GamerLegion, they've got enough money behind them to reinvest here. So, alternate attacks have to take back-to-back buy rounds to try and close this gap that's initially been established by GamerLegion.
And this timeout gives us an opportunity to talk about esports millions. If you check out at the Esports Bible on Twitter, their pinned tweet has a chance for you to win a Main Gear Gaming PC. All you need to do is retweet and participate in esports millions. The round 2 is now live, where Unicorn are offering everyone who participates a chance to win a Main Gear Vibe Stage 3 PC. And the top 50 answers will also share $5,000 worth of Unicorn bets. This all leads up to the €1 million giveaway during Cups 3 and 4. Anyone who answers all 10 questions correctly will win the life-changing prize. You can go and get involved over at ukrn.io/esports millions. You're right in that GamerLegion have the bye to bring forward here into round 9, and if they can keep things going on their CT side, that would be lovely, but it's Meerbit who opens up with the aggression in underpass and takes 0 down early on.
Nice early opening pick from him. Arrow wants to try and bounce back and find something, but this round isn't going all too well for GamerLegion. They've been unable to establish that early control. Scrunk, I'm not sure about that one. No trade potential there whatsoever, and Mezzi's allowed to boost up and actually deals the damage. Error's the one to finish him off, but the man advantage now swaying in the side of GamerLegion. Error's in a good position as well to try and find himself one more, but as actually Palace gets smoked off, he can't connect it, can't connect the no-scope either. Why on earth is he going for that one? Brings it back into a 3-on-3. GamerLegion, they're just getting a little bit overconfident here, and it's not paying off for them at all, but Rusty in the backlines might be the saving grace in this round.
He's got a shift now, though, which gives time for alternate attacks to advance out onto the A bomb site. He's now arrived on that flank, spotted out the first player, and taken him down as well. That brings it into a 3-on-1 as Mezzi opens Cressy up as well, and Slacks can't do anything against the 3-way crossfire in the A bomb site. GamerLegion, quickly as they lose, they win once again. 7-2 going to be the scoreline at the start of their own map pick, and with both sides weaker on the T side of the map, it's going to be the case again the GamerLegion are likely to need a strong first half.
They really are, and I always talk about it, but these sort of rounds, you get into round number 10, there's a dominant early lead from one of the sides. It needs to be a turning point for alternate attacks. This is the time where they can either win this bye round, they can start pulling back some rounds and actually end up having an 8-7. Maybe a 9-6 half, and they've got something to work with in the next. Or they can continue what they're doing right now, keep losing these rounds, and actually end up sort of 11-4, maybe even 12-3 down, which would be absolutely horrendous. As GamerLegion find this early pick, nice bit of aggression from Zero. It's Meerbit down already. Alternate attacks on the back foot as they're still playing this slow default, but they start to regroup over towards the A side.
That's a very nice opener from Stefan, who catches Zero out of position, and that's enough to call rotations in. Rotations that are desperately needed. Era finds Scrunk, and Adam stands up in that site. Era opens Slacks up as well. Cressy up by Mezzi. Tunnel visions in on Jungle and doesn't expect the aggression from CT. 8-2 lead as GamerLegion start to be running away with this series at the moment. Remember that on Overpass, it could have been a very dominant scoreline, something akin to a 16-8 win on that map, but they allowed alternate attacks to come in until the very late stages, and it's set to continue at the moment. The GamerLegion are having another very strong CT half.
Well, they've got the money to reinvest into this one, and they've got the max loss bonus behind them again. But if they can't come out on top here, alternate attacks, they certainly won't be able to have an AWP into the next, I don't think. They'll actually struggle to pull out a proper buy, especially if they can't get the bomb down. So this is a really important one for them to convert, or actually get the bomb plant at the very least. Look at this aggression from GamerLegion. Slack seems to be ready for it, and if he can connect this first shot, it'd be huge. He actually gets away with it as well. Able to fall right back, no trade potential, and Mezzi doesn't want to charge in for it. Meerbit taking a load of control as well. That's the expense that you pay when you get two players up and aggressive into the apartments. They have to give up mid. Mirbit's been spotted now, though. No element of surprise for him to work with. And as Mezzi gets taken out, alternate attacks are in a good position to convert this buy round.
3-on-5, GamerLegion, how do they come back? Era has potentially started that work now. Adam, does he expect Mirbit to be in jungle, though? That could be the critical factor as he's clearing out A at the moment, but Era's still getting kills on the B-bomb side, opening things up. It's caused alternate attacks to start to walk away now, and as he double scopes into the apartments, he may have just read it, but Zero in Firebox has been ever so passive the whole time. Mirbit's going to clear this site out, and he's not going to check Firebox at all, I don't think. This is going to be a huge nightmare for alternate attacks as they walk into A. Zero's just going to swing out and kill the planter.
It's unfortunate that Era can't convert that one because it brings it into a 3-on-2 favoring alternate attacks. But right now, Zero, his position is still unknown. Swings out, can't deny the plant, but finds 2 quick kills. And it leaves Stefan in a 2 versus 1. He knows exactly where Zero is, but the last player's unknown, and Zero comes out on top anyway. 3 massive kills and a huge patience play means that a round that should have gone in the favor of alternate attacks bounces right back. 9-2 to GamerLegion now. This is stellar from them. This is absolutely insane. They could seriously close out this half and give alternate attacks very, very little to work with in the second. Look at those 2 quick kills. And then to even find the first when he's sitting on 40 HP in that situation. Absolutely huge stuff.
You've got to give credit to Era as well. His 2 AWP shots at the start of that round were, what, 4th alternate attacks away from the B bomb site when all is said and done, and that allowed Zero to get the 3 kills that he found. Adam wants to get aggressive now off the back of Era's contact in mid, as actually the GamerLegion side are diverting too much attention to an angle where there are not many players, and they've left the A bomb site for now absent defenders. Mirbit has got the timing perfect on this push as all 3 players have now walked away. The second he walks out, and he might be able to flank these connect pushes.
Oh, I was expecting that to go trading right back, but Mirbit actually comes out on top with 2 frags here and needs to connect this one. He's done exactly that. Can't connect the shot through the smoke. But the man advantage now, Mezzi denying the bomb plant. This is going horribly wrong for alternate attacks, and Stefan, well, he needs to punch in the numbers now, but as Palace gets smoked off, that gives away his teammate's angle. Slacks now gets punished, and well, a 2-on-2 for them to work with. The spam coming through the box, but Era pokes his head up and gets nailed by Cressy. It's Mezzi now in a 2 versus 1. Oh my goodness, he's actually done the spam damage straight through the box onto Stefan, and it leaves him in a 1-on-1 situation.
Cressy has the high ground, and I think Mezzi just spotted the shadow, though. So he's paranoid about the angle, but he closes out the spray down alternate attacks. Time and time again, they're getting the plants on the A bomb site, but they're losing out in these retake scenarios. This time it's Mezzi with a triple kill who wins the 1 versus 2 and stabilizes into that A bomb site. GamerLegion, this is excellent CT play on Mirage.
Not a single player on the alternate attack side, encroaching double digits right now. And well, I said it before the game. I actually said that GamerLegion's only real chance, in my mind, of taking this series was that in these high-pressure situations, when they're in these clutches, when it comes down to these aim duels, they have to come out on top. And I was expecting it to be alternate attacks that would be winning those situations. But it seems to be quite the opposite. When we actually look, and I haven't got any statistics in front of me, but when we actually look at how many clutch situations it's come down to in this Mirage game, and actually on Overpass as well, where it's come down to those 1v1s, those 2v1 situations, it seems like GamerLegion come out on top at least sort of 60-70% of the time, and that is what's tipping them over the edge here. If they hadn't have won those last 2 rounds, it would of course be 8-4 right now. Alternate attacks would have a chance to close out a really good half here, but instead 2 rounds go the wrong way, and we're sitting 10-2 right now. This is dire for alternate attacks.
A similar story to the first map as well, which was their pick of Overpass, as they look to contact play over towards the B site this time. Cressy takes minor utility damage as the Molotov stalls the push, but it is about to come through, and it looks like GamerLegion have read this perfectly as well. They've triple stacked the B bomb site with a secondary player in bench. They're ready for a rush.
Well, as they walk straight into the blender, it's massacre for now. Skrunk, though, in the back line, is able to find himself one. Mezzi needed to connect those shots, and he completely whiffed it. There were too many targets to focus on, and he couldn't do it. Zero here now, though, not expected. They were not expecting 3 players to be on this B site, and he's good for 1. Make that 2, spots out the 3rd as well, but by being alive, he gives his teammate time to rotate. He can't convert another. But Error now in a very doable 2 versus 1 situation. He has info on both players. He spots out the first, but can't connect the shot. Actually given a lifeline, though, as, well, there's not enough bullets left in the clip for him. As the time winds down, I don't think this is doable for Error. He's getting up close and personal, lands the no-scope, but has to tap the bomb. There's really no time here, and Skrunk's playing this perfectly. Error stepping around, his position's known, and Skrunk can come out on top. That no-scope was absolutely ridiculous, but he just couldn't convert the round.
Big brain play from the ex-coach there. Skrunk holding true, knew that Era had to tap that bomb out of desperation, if nothing else, and was able to put aTTaX's 3rd round on the board. And as we head into the final 2 of the half, the GamerLegion economy's actually been broken. They'll take a hard eco here and look for the 11 for at the death of things. aTTaX, 10 rounds at the moment, well, 11 rounds, the worst case scenario that they can be looking at against them going into the second half.
It's no real surprise here that the GamerLegion economy is broken, despite the fact that they're 10-3 up, of course. As I was saying before, so many of these rounds have come down to these clutch situations, and that means that they're losing 3-4 players every single round. They can't retrieve those weapons. They have to fully invest into every single round, and when you're doing that, it becomes very, very difficult to maintain a stable economy. Luckily for them, they have got the money on pretty much everyone here to buy into the next. Error's going to have difficulty. He might just be down to something like an MP9. Bear in mind they've got no loss bonus here, so they're actually not going to be sitting on a whole load of cash. I think we will be seeing some FAMASs, possibly even a scout on Error. 4-man stack over towards this B bomb site right now, though. aTTaX playing cautious. Don't want to walk into this stack. But it's looking like that's actually exactly what they're going to do.
Either way, it's just unarmored pistols. I really struggle to see how they get anything else done other than damage. The USP dinks come through, but it's just so difficult to win the gunfights. Adam gets a kill, but these rifles now are continuing to open up. Rusty's position hasn't been spotted as he fires in the back for some damage at least, but loses out on the pistol fight at the end, and aTTaX do get 4 coming through. Now, let's take a look at that CT economy. Adam can afford to drop Era and up, and if I'm on the CT side, that's what I'll do. I'll even just take a P250 and nothing else, as long as I can get Era that weapon, and it's exactly the call that happens. Era will drop him back, and the rifles will be through for GamerLegion in the last round of the half. However, they do not have very much utility to support them.
That's really the issue. You have to, well, make a decision right now. You either go down to those FAMASs and you have plenty of utility to work with, or you go for the firepower on the M4s, but really don't have a lot there in terms of the utility. And, well, in return, aTTaX charge straight in, but Error finds that opening frag onto Stefan, gives them that man advantage. All of the players now rotating in for this retake, and as soon as these smokes start to dissipate, they're going to be charging in and playing the trading game. Flash comes over through CT. Rusty's good for 1, but Skrunk showing up in the Mirage game, showing that that overpass game was just a mere hiccup in his performance. The 3 versus 3 now coming in, and 0 from Palace might be able to do some damage here.
Slacks punishes Era for dropping a smoke as well. Zero's arrived in time, but Slacks has turned around. Adam aggressive, but the AWPs found him. 10-5 scoreline secured by aTTaX, and it's a much, well, I say a much better effort. Slightly better for them at the end of the first half of Mirage than it was at the end of the first half of Overpass. Now they switch on to their more comfortable CT side. If they can win the pistol and convert, they will have an opportunity to come back into this map, but we know GamerLegion aren't taking any prisoners at the moment. This is a head-to-head in terms of the riflers for these squads at the moment, in which it looks as though Mirbit might just be edging things out.
Wow. aTTaX have an issue right now. They haven't given themselves many rounds to play with. It means they need to convert this pistol, and in certain situations where perhaps they'd go for an extra eco, they're going to have to force right now, but the tool raining in, nothing connecting for Stefan as the splash is good, and oh my goodness, Mirbit not connecting anything either. It's Whiff Central right now on the B bomb site. None of the USPs can do the work close range. And now a 5 versus 3 retake for them to try and clutch up. Slacks does find one, Scrunk doing the same, but Error's able to trade both of those. And it's Slacks right now, last alive. One versus 3 to try and clutch up. I don't see this happening for him.
So difficult to try and accomplish, especially when GamerLegion are not taking these engagements. They are sticking in their cover and waiting for the bomb to tick down. Nobody's going to be peeking into Slacks until it's too late for him to get anything done. He'll run away, try and save his Kevlar. GamerLegion will have 11 on the board now at the start of the second half, and they'll have the opportunity for a 13-5 scoreline if they can get around the next two.
That was really a must-win round for aTTaX. They're not like completely out of the game, of course. They have still got some rounds to play with, but the issue is here is they've jumped straight into a force buy. If they lose this one, GamerLegion get onto 12. They're then forced onto a full eco. GamerLegion can go 13-5. That's really, really not a good place to be. They need to convert this one. Or at the very, very least, they have to convert their next buy round. This is dire straits for aTTaX right now. I was not expecting them to be in a position like this. Sometimes you see the first map of a series, especially with an early start day like this, going in the favor of the underdogs, but then the favorites wake up, come into it a lot stronger. And that's just not being the case here. GamerLegion, they've clearly just been practicing, and it's really paying off right now. Playing very, very well, and aTTaX just don't know how to deal with everything that GamerLegion are throwing at them.
Well, I almost wonder whether aTTaX are trying to, change their overall playstyle a little bit at the moment. Maybe they're doing some internal work, trying to rework things before the LAN calendars resume, before the online leagues come back in a few weeks. Because in the opening stages of the first 9-5 and the opening multi-vibe tournaments, aTTaX were an incredibly strong side, one of the stronger ones fighting. But at the moment, they're on a bit of a slump here. They're just really struggling in certain series, like this one against GamerLegion, to get much done, and it just makes you wonder whether they're trying some major changes at this point. They're aggressing into the B-bomb site, go GamerLegion, as they hunt for kills. Stefan and Mirbit will get one each, but they are now traded out, and the quick rotations charging into B, slowly being cleaned up by these T-side rifles.
Man disadvantage right now, and they have to retake the B site. They've got no utility to work with, a scout and an MP9. Oh, and the jump misses as well for Cressy. He now has to go for the long walk of shame round the short. Slacks gets taken out. Cressy, no real chance of him clutching this one up at all. It's smart for him to just try and sort of save here, try and grab one of those AKs. It's not actually going to be the rifles that are hunting. It's just Adam on that MAC-10 that he can hear stomp. The rifles that are hunting, it's just Adam on that MAC-10 that he can hear stomp. Can reinvest into the next, and I think he probably wouldn't have done so because they'll be against pistols in the next round, but it's really not too much of a problem at all. GamerLegion just looking to convert that round, and as they're able to do so, they're in a very, very strong position right now.
These low money players for GamerLegion, I'm expecting them to either get drop MAC-10s or buy them themselves. They know they're up against the eco coming out from aTTaX, so this is the perfect opportunity to take the SMGs in and farm up some bonus money. It looks instead that Giro will drop a Galil and buy himself an AK, and it's just Era who's on the MAC-10 to try and farm bonus money for an AWP. As long as Rusty stays alive through another GamerLegion win, there'll be an AWP drop to Era available regardless in the form of that dropped weapon there. So the cash looking great for this T side, and as they collapse into A, they can win this round with not too many players going down. It'll be beautiful. Adam finding the second kill of the round. They hunt for the third back towards CT, and of course it's found. aTTaX already shut out of round 18.
It was actually quite a nice play from alternate attacks for them to go for that early apartments aggression. They quite a nice play from alternate attacks for them to go for that early apartments aggression. They then had all the control, they had all the info, they knew their opponents were on A, but of course they're just down to the pistols. There's nothing they can do to hold it up. They're just really waiting for the storm to come in. And they're just being cleaned up right now. Era raking up some more cash with that SMG. And it's Meerbit last alive with the Deagling connector. Might be able to get himself one. There are two players that are sitting low HP right now, and it is Era coming up close. It's sitting on 30, but actually comes out on top. Meerbit can't connect the shot. And $1,200 earned for Era on that MAC-10 that round. I'm sure he throws that away and upgrades to an AK in this one. May not be the case. Looking like he might actually stick with this MAC-10.
They have a teammate who already has to upgrade a Galil into an AK as well, so I think Era might just pick up the weaker rifle there. But no, it looks as though he's just going to be keeping the MAC-10 here. Okay, that's rather interesting. Definitely the bonus round here for GamerLegion, and not one I personally would be gambling on when you had the opportunity to close out that last map and you really let alternate attacks come far back into things. This is a great opening shot from Slacks, but Adam, through Palace, is hunting for aggression. He's tempted to walk forward, but knows somebody could be there to trade him in sight, and this positioning from Zero could be what's important.
Yeah, coming in from behind, trades things back out into a 4-on-4. This may be Adam's cue to peek here, but Cressy's still on the angle. A nice little jiggle peek just to bait out those shots. He can now relay the info to Zero, and, well, Cressy has to sit behind this smoke, knows that he'll be taken out otherwise. Slacks needs to go through that CT smoke, needs to try and take these gunfights. They're coming in from behind, but he can't do anything. Stepping away makes his position known, and, well, that's a free kill and a free upgraded weapon for Rusty.
They're going to charge into A now, B, sorry, now. GamerLegion, I think they've seen the aggression come out through mid, and they know that there should only be one player defending that bomb site. Going up from short would be risky indeed, as all Slacks has to do is take a couple of steps forward, and he can fire out onto these advancing players through mid, but they're going to drop a smoke to try and cover themselves and make their way into B. It's Stefan alone on just 17 health, needs to find something, but can't get anything, and alternate attacks might even want to save here as they're mollied out of market.
I'm not too sure about that peek from Stefan. Of course, if he can find himself an area, I'd swing out and try and deny that plant, level out the numbers, and actually have that element angle and just completely shut him out. And he has to go for that peek there, but, well, as soon as he lean off, so that's an easy save call for alternate attack. Call to make. It's got to be an upsetting one. You're allowing your opponents to get onto 14, and you know that you're not going to have a lot of money to buy around these save weapons in the next round. They, of course, bring an AK and an auto. They've got a loss bonus to work with. They can drop a couple of weapons, but it's really not going to be the best of buys. And all Slacks almost getting taken out there. That was very close.
He's thankful that he still has the sniper to bring forward, because weapons are going to be dropped by and deny map point. But GamerLegion are on an absolute streak right now, and all they need is one more to really put this to bed. At map point at such a large deficit, I'd argue it's all over already. From 14-5, you always have the chance to come back because they have that one mistake in their back pocket. But as soon as you get to that 15-round mark, you tend to see teams crumble. Meerbit has to go big now in the B site as he's found one kill. The other players aren't actually peeking him out at the moment, so he's going to be able to find a second as well. And so far, this B site defense is holding strong for the Germans. Meerbit trying to do more damage, but the frags have been replied by GamerLegion now. The rotators have come through in the form of Cressy and Co. And Mezzy, there's so many smokes in front of him. He's going to struggle to find kills. This could be messy from Era, who takes nade damage as well. And eventually, it does go the Germans' way.
A very back and forth round, kicking it off with Meerbit, finding those two very, very important frags. It does start to go back the other way, but alternate attacks able to pick up the pieces, come out on top. I mean, look at this. Not only does he find 2 kills here, but he actually does a huge amount of damage onto the 3rd player as well. Really solid B anchor defense from Mirbit there, making sure that alternate attacks aren't out of this one yet. The issue is they've got to win against another full buy from GamerLegion. They have plenty of money in the bank, and I think potentially they'd even be able to buy into a next as long as they can save a couple of rifles if they do lose this round.
Rusty looks to expect this aggression from Cressy, but he hasn't got the aim to win out the fight. That's a bit of a blunder there on the T side as they lose the man advantage despite being prepared for the engagement. And it looks like this might prompt GamerLegion to actually re-aggress into B. They expect Mirbit to be at close range, so they hunt for the early kills, but he's now able to drop a smoke and just fall back a bit. That buys his team time and the ability to do something, but that's a perfect Molotov. It's actually opened up this B bomb site now for GamerLegion. Should they choose to advance, they won't do it early, but they've triggered so many rotations from alternate attacks.
Mirbit's aggression there effectively just allows GamerLegion to level out the numbers. They had the man advantage. It wasn't a necessity. It would have been a nice thing to take if he can take that control. He can feed all the info, and they pretty much secure the round. But by walking into a stack there, making his position known, perfect Molotov's able to just do the work. Right now they start walking up over towards the B apartment. Slacks has got the angle on the window and he's looking to find this first, but as he gets flashed off, he needs to reposition, goes for a new angle, can't connect the shot though. As he's getting charged in, Adam's the one to find it. A very nice frag from him, gives them the man advantage, gives them the bomb site as the bomb now actually goes down. This is going to be a very difficult retake for alternate attacks, but one that they have to go for and they have to convert.
That's a perfect way to start. Era gets caught out as he's double scoping, and they still have to wait to pull the trigger on this execute because Stefan's smoked off on short. Now they will look to advance, but Adam's landed the first shot. Scrunk with one of his own. That's important to bring it back into a 2-on-2, and as time ticks down, Adam needs to look the right direction here. Zero's missed his shot, and now in the 1-on-2, Adam can't hold on to it. There might just be enough time for Scrunk to get on the bomb with his kit and keep the German side alive here. By the skin of their teeth, they win out that retake.
That came down very, very close and really just came down to the Angels in that 2 versus 2 situation. That definitely could have swung the other way, but alternate attacks connect the shots when needed, come out on top. The issue that they face is, again, they have to go up against the buy here. Error only down to the Scout, Adam down to the Galil, but still the rifles for them to work with, and to try and counter it, they've got double AWP set up here.
2v2 from GamerLegion. Both Zero and Adam were switching between either angle instead of just holding one for each player, and that is ultimately what caused them to fall down, just trying to snap onto players because they're not able to hold the angles in the late scenario. Mezzi takes nearly all of his HP's worth of damage, but doesn't take all of it, which is all that matters for this T side. But there are double AWPs out against them now, and they avoided picking up 15 rounds there. That is the nightmare, because it's almost exactly what happened over on Overpass. They came close to getting 15, but they missed out and let alternate attacks come far back into the map before they were able to close things out late on in the map. Now, as they're deploying utility, they want to creep into this A bomb site where it's Scrunk and Slacks to try and defend.
Scrunk is only good for one, but considering they had the man advantage, Slacks is able to find one back. They retain it. 4 versus 3 now as Stefan actually whiffs that shot onto Adam. Adam spins right around the 180. Gets himself that nice headshot, brings it into a 3-on-3. 35 seconds on the clock, though. They need to get this bomb down, and the AWPs have got the angles. They find themselves 2-0 in a near impossible 1v3 right now. He has got a smoke to work with. That will allow him to get this plant, but instead he doesn't actually decide to commit to it. Instead goes for the fake, needs to isolate these fights, does exactly that. Mirbit now down. It's a 2 versus 1, and it's an absolutely doable one as they're charging him down. He can hear both of them right now, and he can play this perfectly, but he can't connect the shot onto Cressy. And alternate attacks again come out on top in one of these clutch situations. It seems to have gone the other way. GamerLegion in the first half, in the first map, these 1v2s, these 2v2s were going in their favor again and again and again. And now it seems to be alternate attacks that are working well under pressure and converting these rounds. And this is going to be the first eco in a while for GamerLegion. I think they might pull out some pistols here, but they won't invest a whole lot more than that.
The issue for the T side in that last round was they left the bomb in spawn. They did great work, or at least Adam did, breaking into that A bomb site and finding the early control, and then he just had to sit there like a sitting duck and wait for like 30 seconds as GamerLegion had to rotate a player all the way out of B apartments through CT and then into A to plant. It took so long that alternate attacks were able to rotate all of their players over, and what was potentially the 3-on-3 post-plant situation was actually like a 1-on-3 site defense as Adam was waiting for his teammates to arrive, and they had no utility, so they just got picked off completely dry by that double AWP setup. It was an unfortunate tactical mistake from the GamerLegion side, and that seems to be what happens to them. When we reach these late stages of the matches, they start making tactical errors, it appears, and start slipping up.
This early boost from GamerLegion gives them a lot of control, but considering alternate attacks gave up window early on, they should be aware of it. Their position's showing that they are so. Zero, though, creeping right up, actually able to find himself the opener on the Scrunk. They've taken a lot of damage, but they have got a man advantage to work with, and that's the fake play needed for his teammates to initiate the push over onto B. Stefan needs to come out on top here, and he does exactly that. 2 kills found for him, make that 3 as Slacks finds one more. Zero last alive, his position's known, he's good for 1, but as he gets tagged down low, I can't see him finding much more, and Cressy's the one to finish him off. Alternate heat of overpass right now. GamerLegion clearly just have trouble closing things out in the final rounds of the map.
They do indeed, and this timeout gives us the opportunity to talk about Unicorn, the platform with the most CSGO betting options in the world. If you join them today, you can get 80 euros of bets from a 20 euro deposit and bet on yourselves in CSGO pubs, bet on pro teams, or get fresh esports matches 24/7, even when events are offline. They won Esports Bookmaker of the Year in 2019, and you can find out why today with a 300% first deposit bonus using code RELOG, RELOG. Scores on the doors, it's Zero and Era leading the way, of course, for that T side, and they're definitely going to be vital components here for GamerLegion if they want to take it over the line.
It really is. This is a round that GamerLegion really want to be converting here. They've gone for an all-out buy, no AWP available on any of them. But if they can take this, they put themselves onto match point before it starts to get too dangerous. If they allow alternate attacks to get onto double digits here, they can take it 14-11, and then the next buy round becomes very, very... Take it 14-11, and then the next buy round becomes very, very important. Because if you then lose that one, things start to level up, and it becomes dangerous. So if they can convert this, they'll still have a dominant scoreline, they'll have plenty of rounds to work with, and 6 or so chances to close it out with a worst-case scenario of overtime. They just need to try and tip this one over the edge. Right now, Slacks is in a fantastic position to deal with this boost if Rusty does go for the peak, but actually the smoke comes in before he does so. Slacks, well aware that a boost has probably come in right now, but at the same time, engagement's happening elsewhere. Slacks can't quite connect the shot, and he should actually get taken down here, but instead comes out on top with a P250.
Rusty, that is a crucial mistake to make as his team now is just falling apart against alternate attacks. Zero's found Meerbit, but Cressy's dealt with his teammate. That round just goes from bad to worse for GamerLegion. I don't know what is going on. It's the same case as Overpass. They look strong. They look like they're going to close out these maps early and in dominant faction, and then they just disappear on the T sides. They look like a completely different side, and I'm really struggling to figure out whether it's alternate attacks getting a good read over them, or whether it's just them starting to choke at the end of these maps, to be honest with you. That engagement with Rusty there, he definitely should have won that after getting legs. You have to go aggressive and convert those kills. There's no way you should be losing out to a P250, and while you can't blame everything on him, I'm more trying to make the point that perhaps that individual mistake is a symptom of GamerLegion feeling the pressure when it matters in these maps.
Oof. That grenade dealing a hefty amount of damage, and now it should just be an absolute massacre. They're walking straight into the blender. Perfect crossfire setup from the CT side, and GamerLegion can't do anything at all. Of course, that was somewhat of an eco for them. They can't convert a single point of damage. Now's the buy for them. This is what I was saying. This is the important round now. If they lose this by round, aTTaX can bring it all the way back to 14-13, and all of a sudden you've got a serious game on your hands. GamerLegion can take this one over the edge. They sit 15-11. They've got 4 chances to close it out. They'd be pretty happy with that. They have to do the work beforehand.
Just the identical pattern from Overpass on the GamerLegion side. Something they need to be working on. They've done a great effort to is closing out these maps when they have the giant leads. It's an issue that, you know, it's not unique to GamerLegion. It's one that has plagued a fair share of top teams, but Slack's flashed off now. Has to go big for these shots. It's Cressy in jungle who nobody peeked, and he's found a double. Slack shut them down in the A site as well. In GamerLegion, they can get nothing done. It feels like they walk into a stacked bomb site every time, and I think you have to give credit to aTTaX at that point. They're just reading GamerLegion like a book now.
Slack seems to not be missing a single shot, and it's looking very much like Error's next in line. He is the man with the AWP, but it's actually Scrunk to find it. All 5 players staying alive for aTTaX right now, and GamerLegion, they have to do this. They have to win Mirage right now, because if they let this one slip, they go on to Inferno as the decider, and I don't fancy their chances of closing out Inferno. It's their weakest map. They've had terrible performances on it in the past, and of course, that mental resilience as well coming into that 3rd map off of the back of, well, throwing away a huge lead. If they can't close out Mirage right now, I think this is over for GamerLegion, and I think they know it.
I predicted overtime in the first map, but I'm much more confident it'll be an overtime situation here, as GamerLegion now have to bring the pistols out. I'm just perplexed as to what on earth is going on in that side. What was the scoreline there? 14-5 up were GamerLegion in this half. They can't win 1 round to put themselves onto map point, and that's really all it becomes, the T side. I mentioned it earlier in the map. All you need to do when you're that far ahead is just hit the 15-round scoreline, and teams crumble against you. They know they have no space to work with, and all you need is 1 round absolutely to win. Instead, now they have to charge into this A bomb site, which still has 3 men stacked into it, and Scrunk up close. It's just hitting all of these shots. GamerLegion are just folding like wet paper at the moment. Era will get 2 nice kills, but it's 14-13 this time. GamerLegion, they bring the full buyout in the next round, but this is the tied scoreline, and
aTTaX now sit within 1 round of leveling things out. GamerLegion have gone into another buy. They actually, yeah, they could have afforded an AWP on Error in this scenario. Instead, he opts for that AK. But Slacks early on finds that kill. There's no trade potential on it either, as he's fallen right back. Zero's desperate to trade it, but such a heavy presence on mid. This is already falling apart for GamerLegion as Cressy finds 1 more. Oh, this is not good at all right now. Error's flashed, can't even get the trade in. He's going to go for it now. Does actually find it, gets the second as well. Error has just brought his team back into this one. A 3 versus 3 for them to work with now. And GamerLegion could just pull this one off.
Slacks' AWP still alive and kicking is the most dangerous factor in that ladder room. As Era's crept into jungle. It's all about timing. That's the key issue. The only player on the A site for aTTaX is passively defending CT. And Mezzy down in underpass. He has the bomb on his back. He'd have to push into a dangerous position with Slacks' crosshair if he wanted to get in through connector, and he definitely knows that. Slacks, peeking jungle himself, needs to be careful advancing at this point, as it looks like the A site might just be hit here. GamerLegion are going to send Adam to fake out B and then try and hit the A site.
That Molotov, they were hoping that would pull a rotation. It's not really going to do so, and it means that Slacks is able to deny that plant. 20 seconds on the clock for them to work with still, but they need to get this trade, and they do exactly that. Error, the 3rd kill of the round. In fact, the only man to put up numbers in this round, number 26, and he's still doing it. Lands himself another, but the bomb plant's going to be denied. There's 4 seconds on the clock. Adam's unable to trade it. This has all gone horribly wrong. It comes down to the wire, but alternate attacks level things up. That is so unfortunate.
Why on earth does he plant out in the open there? I'm so confused as to why he's done that. He clearly just has no information as to where the last player is at all. That is such a blunder after great work in the round. He just has no idea. He must assume that the CT player is in the CT position at that point in time, because that's the map, in my opinion, for GamerLegion now. I reckon they're all out of this, and we're heading to Inferno. They have really thrown this lead away. I don't use the word choke very often, but they're 14-5 up on Mirage at that point, and they had a great opportunity to win a round on the B bomb site in round 20, and it all fell apart from then on. Just a complete mess of a T side after doing all the work they needed to. If they don't secure this round and convert the map at this point in time, this is a serious problem that this side need to get over. There is no way in hell you can allow yourselves to be losing maps where you've had a 14-5 lead.
Error needs to go huge here in round number 29 with this AWP. His teammates have sacrificed a lot of utility and a lot of firepower to make sure he can have it. He's unable to connect that opening shot. His position is now known. But as his teammates start to rotate off, they're just going for this early control. Just really keeping alternate attacks guessing. If they sort of fire off some shots early on A, then run back over towards B, do the same there, then alternate attacks really have no idea what's going on. For now, they're keeping their standard setup with the 2-2-1-2. The smokes go in on mid. Looking like they're actually going to try and take control over towards that. See if they can go for this pincer, but Cressy through the smoke, his spidey senses kick in. And that's going to be the man advantage for alternate attacks early on.
Zero tries to push into that smoke and is punished by it. Mid control belongs to GamerLegion. They need to take down Stax' AWP. He's been a reign of terror against them. And now that it's removed, that has to be a huge sigh of relief. He's just been dominating this T side with that AWP, doing the work for his fellow German defenders. And now, GamerLegion, look at the time. They barely have any time to work with in this A bomb site. They had to find that kill, but Stefan can still ruin the round. GamerLegion have left it too long to charge into B. And with the bomb looking to be planted now, they've lost control. Too late, too little for GamerLegion. Alternate attacks, they're in position to send us to Inferno.
Running down the clock that low, their options were limited. They had to charge into that B site. And where it all just fell apart from them. The B anchor went absolutely huge, and now it's round number 30. GamerLegion, they have to take it to take us to overtime. And all they have to work with is a few Mat 10s and a couple of Galils. This is not looking good right now for them at all. I was expecting some kind of change of pace here. It's looking like that's what we might see as all the flashes raining over. Slack's now smoked off. It's looking like they are going to try and charge into A. This change of pace might just work out for them as Zero finds that opening frag. Slack's unable to trade it, but they've dealt so much damage. The Molotov actually finishing off Zero, but the bomb goes down. They've got the man advantage. They might just be able to pull this one off if alternate attacks can't make this retake work.
GamerLegion, where was this in the last 10 rounds? They just played passively every time or ran into a stack. Absent information, and they can still lose out. Mibit, triple kill with the rifle. See you later, GamerLegion. Not enough. One of the biggest chokes I think I've ever seen in my entire life. A 14-5 lead in a dominant position on the T side of Mirage, and they choke it all away. 11 rounds in a row, won by the alternate attack side, and they have done enough work to take us on to Inferno. Find out if the Germans can win out the series after this quick break.